If you listen, you can hear the vitality of the coast and the cultures it nurtured in the music of Louisiana. Michael Juan Nunez taps into that heritage.
The cultural richness of this area you don't find in other areas, and then you have all these stories that's been told time and time again, you know, and I think that it's just, you know, Louisiana has a mystique about it.
His music reflects his southern roots.
We do our version of the blues. It's just rock and roll, but we put our own twist to it, you know. My voice has an accent, I know, just like the guitarist has an accent, and it all comes from this area.
And tonight he plays at Bayou Legendaire at the old Richard Sale Barn in Abbeville. There may be no better place to experience this blending of past and present.
It's a really magical experience. You'll feel it.
For Michael Juan Nunez, it's a homecoming.
I can remember my dad taking me to this place whenever I was a kid. And my uncle actually used to help with the cattle in the pen, which they built the stage over.
That's right, cattle and pens. Not your usual greeting from a concert venue. I met with Johnny and Kathy Richard to discover the story behind the live music and livestock. So it's an old auction house. Behind this metal railing would be all the cattle.
Yeah. Behind the metal railing would be the cattle, and up there would be the auctioneer, my father.
Johnny Richard is a Cajun cowboy. It's in his blood. Cattle and horses are his heritage.
Jean Avery Richard had a slaughterhouse on the Vermilion Bayou. He then, with the help of his sons, opened the Richard Sale Barn. When the sons returned from World War II, they built a greater building, and this is the third building as you see now.
When the cattle auction market bypassed Abbeville, Richard Sale Barn closed in 1978. And with it, so went an important part of the social fabric of this community.
95% of people spoke French. 30% of those just spoke French, didn't speak English at all. This was these people's newspaper. That's why we wanted to keep it going.
By keeping this place alive, the Richards created a music venue that reconnects to the legends of the Bayou.
A lot of people that walked through that door and said, man, this is exactly what it looked like when my grandfather brought me here when I was 8 years old.
I grew up, you know, raising cattle. So this place was always familiar with me, and when they turned it into this thing, and I can remember doing our first show here, just the vibe that's in here, it's magical. That's the only way I can explain it.
That magic would become legendary when D.L. Menard took to the stage. Mr. D.L. is one of the most important figures in all of Cajun music. He's been called the Cajun Hank Williams, and this humble man has influenced all that came after.
Mr. D.L., he lives 3 miles from my house. You know, was best friends with my dad. It's kind of hard not to be immersed in that scene, you know, and kind of hard not to be inspired by it.
I bought my guitar at 16 and a half years old. At 17 years old, I played my first dang job.
And you've been playing ever since?
And I've been playing ever since. And they still think I'm good. And I never told them any better. Oh, yeah.
In their hometown of Erath, next to the Acadian Museum, there is the Museum Cafe, where a painting of Mr. D.L. overlooks all who take the stage at the Cajun Jam.
It's actually a fun time where musicians come in and exhibit their talents. A lot of amateurs, young kids who are trying to make a name for themselves, who will go carry on our tradition.
The next generation plays the songs of Mr. D.L., looking to hit the right rhythm that will tap into the heart of Cajun music.
We played from the heart.
So if you can't play from the heart, don't play Cajun music?
No, you can't play from the heart, don't play it. Well, we don't, at least us. If we can't play from the heart, we don't play music. It's played from the heart.
I took his advice as I joined the jam. Maybe those 2 chords I played didn't clearly show my affection for those who joined me on my journey in Vermilion. But by reflecting on those moments, for that moment on stage, I was Cajun.
Not everybody can become Cajun. And not everybody is that open to becoming part of this dysfunctional family.
Cajuns are nowhere else but South Louisiana, and no other people are like Cajuns.
When I think of this most Cajun place, I will think about the story of the people and what they did when they first arrived here in Louisiana.
The first thing they did was they knelt in prayer, and then they danced. They danced.
The dance continues in Vermilion.